Imagine walking through the ancient streets of Jerusalem where time seems to have stopped. Beneath their feet lies a secret buried nearly 2,000 years ago, a discovery that could change everything. Could this be the tomb of Jesus Christ? For the first time in centuries, a team of archaeologists carefully removed the marble slab covering the tomb inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, a site revered by millions of Christians as the place where Jesus was crucified, buried, and resurrected. And what they found left scientists, historians, and believers stunned. The removal of the final layer revealed a funerary bed. This stone slab, according to tradition, is where Jesus' body lay after the crucifixion. But researchers tested the materials around the tomb, and the results pointed to the 4th century, the exact time Emperor Constantine identified this site as Jesus' burial place. The significance of this discovery extends beyond its physical location. For nearly 2,000 years, this tomb was at the center of wars, reconstructions, and pilgrimages. People risked everything to preserve its sanctity. And now, in modern times, we finally have the tools to unlock its secrets. Fast forward to the year 326 AD. The first Roman ruler to embrace Christianity, Emperor Constantine, orders the destruction of a pagan temple in Jerusalem, allegedly built atop Jesus' burial site. Constantine, moved by the significance of this find, commissioned the construction of a grand church over the site, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. He wasn't just building a church, he was solidifying the foundation of a new faith in an empire long ruled by pagan traditions. It was a statement, a bold declaration that Christianity would rise from the shadows and take its place in history. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre became more than a building. It became a symbol of faith, standing tall against the ravages of time. Yet, its survival was anything but guaranteed. In 614 AD, the Persian army invaded Jerusalem, razing the church and seizing what many believed to be the true cross of Jesus. Despite rebuilding the church, tragedy struck again in 1009 when Caliph al-Hakim ordered its complete destruction. Imagine the heartbreak of believers seeing their sacred site reduced to rubble, not once, but multiple times. Despite the destruction, Christians rebuilt the church yet again, this time with the help of the Byzantine Emperor Constantine IX. By the time the Crusaders arrived in Jerusalem in 1099, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre had become a fortress of faith, symbolizing not just religious devotion, but the enduring spirit of those who refused to let history erase their beliefs. Now let's step forward to the modern era, where science begins to shed light on this ancient tale. In the 21st century, archaeologists uncovered evidence tying the tomb to Constantine's time. The discovery of mortar inside the structure, dating back to the 4th century, confirmed through radiocarbon dating that this site served as Jesus' burial place during his reign. When experts first examined the tomb in recent years, they were alarmed by what they saw. Cracks riddled the marble walls. The structure was sinking under the weight of centuries, with instability threatening to undo the work of generations. For a site of this magnitude, the stakes were monumental. The tomb wasn't just a religious relic, it was a portal to the past, and letting it fall apart would mean losing a piece of humanity's shared story. This wasn't the first time the tomb faced collapse. Fires, earthquakes, invasions, and sheer neglect had left their mark over the centuries. But modern times brought new tools, advanced techniques, and, most importantly, a renewed commitment to uncover the truth while preserving the sacred. One of the most important methods was optically stimulated luminescence. Researchers were able to date the mortar and stones with astonishing accuracy thanks to this technique, which measures a material's last exposure to sunlight. They also used advanced laser mapping to create detailed digital models of the tomb. These models helped identify weaknesses in the structure, ensuring that repairs would last for generations. Skeptics argue that Constantine's identification of the site was politically motivated, designed to strengthen the emerging Christian empire. Critics suggest that the Church of the Holy Sepulchre's location within the city walls, as Jerusalem was in Constantine's era, conflicts with biblical descriptions of Jesus' burial outside the city. Hebrews 13:12. Although archaeological evidence suggests the site was indeed outside the walls in the 1st century, some remain unconvinced. However, archaeologists have dated the Garden Tomb to the Iron Age, 8th, 7th century BCE, far earlier than Jesus' time. Despite its historical disconnect, the Garden Tomb remains a popular pilgrimage site, particularly for Protestants, who see it as a simpler, more spiritual alternative to the ornate Church of the Holy Sepulchre. The debate over Jesus' burial site gained renewed attention in 2007 with the release of the documentary The Lost Tomb of Jesus. Directed by Simcha Jacobovici and produced by filmmaker James Cameron, the film centered on the Talpiot Tomb, a 1st century burial site discovered in 1980 in the Jerusalem suburb of East Talpiot. The tomb contained ossuaries, bone boxes, bearing inscriptions such as Jesus, son of Joseph, Mary, and Judas, son of Jesus. The filmmakers claimed these findings could represent the burial site of Jesus and his family, challenging traditional Christian beliefs about his resurrection. The documentary's claims sparked immediate controversy. Scholars criticized the filmmakers for sensationalism and for drawing conclusions that lacked rigorous evidence. One of the primary arguments against the Talpiot tomb theory is the commonality of the names inscribed on the ossuaries. During Jesus' time, names like Jesus, Mary, and Joseph were exceedingly popular, making it statistically likely that unrelated families might share these names. Critics also argued that the inscription Judas, son of Jesus, directly contradicts Christian tradition, which does not support the idea of Jesus having a son. DNA tests on the ossuary's remains revealed no maternal relationship between two individuals identified as Jesus and Mary Magdalene. The documentary posited this as evidence of a marital connection. However, skeptics noted the absence of a paternal DNA link, which could have indicated a more mundane family relationship, such as siblings or cousins. Archaeologists have also pointed out inconsistencies in the documentary's claims. For example, the Talpiot tomb is not located near any known 1st century Christian sites. Additionally, many experts questioned the filmmaker's interpretation of certain inscriptions, such as Mariamne. While the documentary claimed it referred to Mary Magdalene, many experts disputed this, arguing the term has broader meanings in historical texts. The debates surrounding the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the Garden Tomb, and the Talpiot tomb highlight the complex interplay between faith, history, and archaeology. Each site tells a story that resonates differently depending on one's perspective. For traditional Christians, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre remains a sacred space with deep historical roots. For others, alternative theories like the Garden Tomb or the Talpiot tomb offer opportunities to question and explore the narratives surrounding Jesus' burial. One of the most groundbreaking events in recent years occurred in 2016 when the Church of the Holy Sepulchre underwent a critical restoration. Researchers had an unprecedented opportunity to study the construction, history, and symbolism of the tomb, traditionally believed to hold the body of Jesus Christ for the first time in nearly 500 years. The tomb's deteriorating state, which threatened its stability after centuries of exposure to natural wear, seismic activity, and the sheer weight of its historical significance, drove this monumental event. The edicule, a small shrine enclosing the tomb, had suffered structural damage over time, with visible cracks and instability in its marble panels. Understanding the danger, the Greek Orthodox, Armenian, and Roman Catholic communities in charge of the church collaborated to initiate a comprehensive restoration project. When experts began their work, they expected to repair and reinforce the structure, but what they discovered went far beyond their expectations. As restorers carefully removed the marble slab covering the burial bed, they uncovered layers of history. The protective marble revealed a second slab, etched with a cross and believed to date back to the Crusader period. Even more astonishing was the discovery of the original limestone burial bed, exposed for the first time in modern history. Centuries of Christian tradition regard this stone as the resting place of Jesus after his crucifixion. Researchers conducted detailed examinations of the tomb's interior, collecting samples of mortar, sediment, and other materials for analysis. Additionally, structural scans and imaging techniques revealed hidden details about the edifice's construction and earlier restorations. These findings confirmed the tomb's veneration as a sacred Christian site for nearly 2 millennia. Few topics spark as much debate as the location of Jesus Christ's burial. While the Church of the Holy Sepulchre is considered the most likely site by many scholars and religious leaders, alternative theories and interpretations persist. This ongoing conflict of interpretation reflects a complex interplay of historical evidence, religious tradition, and archaeological uncertainty. These differing viewpoints create a mosaic of questions, each as fascinating as it is polarizing. However, not everyone agrees. Some argue that politics, rather than historical accuracy, influenced Constantine's decision. Establishing a central site for Christian worship in Jerusalem would have been a powerful tool for unifying a newly Christian empire. Skeptics argue that symbolism, rather than historical veracity, may have driven the site's selection. Discovered in 1867, the Garden Tomb presents an alternative narrative. Situated outside the old city walls, it aligns with biblical accounts describing Jesus' burial in a garden near Golgotha. Its tranquil setting and resemblance to ancient tombs described in Scripture have made it a popular site for Protestant pilgrims seeking a more personal connection to Jesus' story. Despite its spiritual appeal, the Garden Tomb faces significant archaeological challenges. Experts have dated the site to the Iron Age, centuries before Jesus lived. This makes it unlikely to have been a newly carved tomb, as described in the Gospels. Still, for many, the Garden Tomb's peaceful atmosphere offers a symbolic connection to Jesus' death and resurrection, even if it lacks historical credibility. The story of Jesus Christ, his life, crucifixion, and resurrection has resonated deeply throughout history, inspiring countless works of art, literature, and, more recently, film and television. These productions serve as cultural touchstones, reflecting the enduring significance of Jesus' story across diverse societies and time periods. Each adaptation, whether a faithful retelling or a modern reinterpretation, sheds light on humanity's ongoing fascination with his teachings and legacy. The cinematic portrayal of Jesus began in the early 20th century, as filmmakers sought to harness the emerging power of cinema to bring sacred stories to life. One of the first notable films was The Passion Play of Oberammergau, 1898, which documented the famous German Passion Play. Silent-era productions like From the Manger to the Cross, 1912, marked the first narrative attempts to depict Jesus' life, relying heavily on visual storytelling to convey emotional depth and spiritual significance. As technology advanced, filmmakers embraced the epic scale of biblical stories. The King of Kings, 1927, directed by Cecil B. DeMille, is often considered a landmark in religious cinema. Its grandeur and reverence set the tone for decades of biblical epics to follow. These early films not only reflected Christian devotion, but also demonstrated the universal appeal of Jesus' narrative. The mid-20th century saw the rise of lavish biblical productions that captivated global audiences. Films like Ben-Hur, 1959, and The Greatest Story Ever Told, 1965, brought Jesus' story to life with large-scale sets, all-star casts, and sweeping musical scores. While these films focused on Jesus' life and teachings, they also explored the social and political landscape of his time, offering a broader context to his message. Franco Zeffirelli's 6-hour miniseries, Jesus of Nazareth, 1977, stands out as a particularly iconic representation. Featuring Robert Powell as Jesus, the series became a definitive portrayal for many thanks to its solemn tone, meticulous attention to historical detail, and emotional depth. It remains a cornerstone of religious programming, often broadcast during Easter celebrations worldwide. Not everyone has embraced all portrayals of Jesus. As filmmakers began to push creative boundaries, their interpretations sometimes sparked heated debates. Martin Scorsese's 1988 film, The Last Temptation of Christ, reimagined Jesus as a deeply human figure grappling with doubt and temptation. While some praised the film for its psychological complexity, others criticized it for deviating from traditional theological views. Similarly, Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ, 2004, divided audiences with its unflinching depiction of Jesus' suffering during his final hours. Despite its graphic violence, the film resonated deeply with viewers, becoming one of the highest-grossing religious films of all time. Its success underscored the profound emotional connection many feel with Jesus' sacrifice. Productions such as The Chosen, 2019, have revolutionized the storytelling of Jesus' story on screen in recent years. This multi-season series takes a more personal approach, focusing on the lives of those who followed Jesus and how his message transformed them. By humanizing the disciples and highlighting Jesus' compassion, The Chosen has brought a fresh perspective to familiar narratives, drawing millions of viewers across faiths. What makes Jesus' story so compelling is its universality. Films and series about his life transcend religious boundaries, exploring themes of love, sacrifice, forgiveness, and redemption that resonate across cultures. Productions like Son of God, on 2014, and animated adaptations such as The Miracle Maker, 2000, have introduced younger audiences to these timeless messages, ensuring their relevance for future generations. The opening of what is believed to be Jesus' tomb after nearly 2,000 years is more than just a historical or archaeological achievement. It is a profound reminder of the enduring nature of faith, the passage of time, and humanity's relentless pursuit of truth. Beneath the layers of marble, stone, and mortar lies a story that transcends religion, connecting people across generations and cultures through a shared sense of wonder. If you're enjoying this journey, uncovering the mysteries of the past, consider clicking Super Thanks, sir. You're fueling the work that brings these incredible narratives to life. At its core, the unveiling of the tomb reminds us of the importance of preservation, not only of physical monuments, but also of the beliefs, traditions, and values that bind us as a global community. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre, having survived centuries of war, earthquakes, and destruction, stands as a testament to humanity's determination to protect what it holds sacred. The discoveries made during the restoration also reveal a powerful lesson about the relationship between science and faith. Rather than existing in opposition, the two can work together to uncover deeper truths. Advanced technology allowed us to date the tomb's materials, bridging the gap between ancient traditions and modern knowledge. This collaboration highlights that seeking answers doesn't diminish faith, it can deepen it, providing a broader understanding of the past while reaffirming the significance of belief in the present. Thanks for watching. Join our community by subscribing to the channel. See you in the next video.